A lot of Nigerians still do not see the impact of the use of this money.
If I were a lower paid worker, I mean the lowest paid worker, and my salary is 70,000, I don't want to remain on 70,000 all through my life. I probably maybe go to school or something, or go and do some other things to enhance my income. Not even in UK, even in US. In US, there's a term they always use. They call it moonlighting.
Speak to your state government and the local government. They have a role to play.
Citizens should not begin to look at everything federal. If they have divorce at home, say federal government. If they have this problem, federal. No. Let us begin to believe that we are a federation. And just like the federal government has responsibility, the states and the councils will also have their own.
What are you doing to ensure that states and local governments are accountable?
No, wait, this is not a military government. This is a civilian government, democratic government. The governors have immunity for 4 years. If you spend 8 years, they can't arrest you, they can't take you to court. It's only after you have finished your tenure, other 4 or 8, that the FCC can come calling, or the ICPC can come calling.
Make sure there are no constant increase in the cost of fuel. And
I don't remember that I made that promise.
You never made that promise.
I don't remember that intention. The one people have been taunting us with, but the president said, "Oh, it will solve the problem of electricity." Yeah, he made that promise, and he's doing it.
When it comes to nationhood and governance, there are many steps to it. There are promises, there are policies, there are reactions to policies that have been made, and there is the acceptance of the people. Then there is the implementation process. All this do happen. So today, on a trip to the capital, we are seated at the seat of power in Nigeria, that is Abuja, the presidency, and we're having a chat with a man that has access to information about our nation. He is the special advisor on information and strategy to the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and that is the person of Mr. Bayo Onanuga. Let's get the show started. This is a trip to the capital. Good day, sir. Thank you for your time.
Good afternoon.
Yes, sir.
You're welcome to the seat of power.
Thank you. Thank you. It doesn't feel too different from the seats we have in our homes.
Maybe the location is different.
Well, that's true. That's true. The location is different. But, it marks about 2 years and 9 months since your administration came into office, and Nigerians had hopes. So, when you were coming in, and where we are right now, when you look back, you look at the promises you made, is this what you anticipated, or is this where you anticipated Nigeria would be? Is this how far you think you'll have brought us?
Well, let me say that if you put our manifesto on one side and you put where we are on the other side, you find that we have actually this government has actually implemented all those ideas it put in that manifesto. For instance, we promised that we are going to stop the regime of multiple exchange rates. That has been achieved. We said we are going to stop subsidy on fuel. That has been achieved. Of course, arising from these major reforms have come some unintended consequences, unintended effects, and government has also tried to address all those unintended consequences. And today where we are, it is clear that the policies government had implemented, they are good policies for Nigeria. People who are looking at the immediate pain, they are not looking at the future, at what all these policies do for Nigeria. And we begin to look at the even starting from the microeconomic effects, we find that this government has succeeded. Succeeded in implementing its agenda, succeeded in bringing visible gains to the country. And the economy is certainly much, much better than what the government inherited in 2023. What most Nigerians don't know, or what we sometimes forget to know, is that when this government came in, our reserve, for instance, the foreign reserve, even though the figure was showing $33 billion, in actuality, as JP Morgan told us, what we had was just lower than $4 billion. 4 billion. That was why it was so difficult for Nigeria, for instance, to remit the money already paid by airlines. They were talking about $800 million. A country that had in 2023 $33 billion in reserve could not pay $800 million. Emirates left. Some other airlines were threatening to pull out. But in the first year of President Tinubu, we found that we were able to pay. And today, as at yesterday or so, the reserve is now nearing $50 billion. That is providing us enough buffer to take care of imports and other things. And you can see also the exchange rate also going down. Naira is appreciating. And these are all good pluses for the economy. So I think things have improved. Look at even the reform we carried out on fuel. Last December, for instance, there was no fuel shortage anywhere. And contrary to the fears of Nigerians that, we are going to buy fuel at 1,000 or 2,000 something, prices are moderating. Which means there's a lot of good logic in what the government did to let the market determine a lot of things. And some people are saying important fuel, but you have a major refiner in the country, and the prices are not jumping the way people thought to jump.
Right.
And that today, if you check our West African region, Nigeria's fuel is still the cheapest. Nigeria's fuel is still the cheapest.
Yeah, I mean,
people should not forget that.
Yeah, as well as constantly been relatively cheaper than countries in West Africa. That's been one of the benefits or advantages we've had over the years. But when you talk about the boosting of foreign reserve, some Nigerians are still asking questions that the same way the former administration of late President Buhari gave out figures, and we believed it, only for us to later realize that the figures are not accurate. 4 billion as against 30 billion. Are we sure that that's not the same thing we're going through right now? Particularly as Nigerians are saying that the cost of food has not even moderated back to what it was when the foreign reserves were lower. Then how are we sure that we're really experiencing this? Hope that when another administration comes in, we wouldn't be told that, well, it's not up to 50, it's just 8 billion.
Well, I will go by the statistics provided by NBS, the National Bureau of Statistics. In fact, even this morning when I was coming, I asked my driver, how is the market? Are prices really going down? And I said, yes, prices are going down. But even recently, because of the Ramadan fast, we're expecting some increase in cost. Maybe that will be captured by NBS in its next month's report. But generally, the inflation figure has gone down. People know, people have read all kinds of reports, people saying what you are buying rice at the beginning of this administration, don't know what you are buying it now. What you are buying beans at the beginning of our administration, when he came in and effected all those reforms, it's not the same. Prices have really gone down. I've had food speculators, people who had ordered food, ordering beans, ordering rice, and so on. They are crying because they've suddenly found that they have lost all their money because prices have gone down far, far below what they were hoping they were going to resell it. So I think inflation is moderating. The figures are there. NBS has said it. As of now, it's about 15.1 or so. And we expect that they even go much, much lower as this year progresses. So we are recording a lot of successes. And the government is not going to be, they're not going to lie. The CBN has said it. The governor said, yeah, we have 48.7 billion in reserve, And that as of now, when they have this money, there are all kinds of demands on your reserve. People want to repatriate their profit, they want to do anything. They say, as of today, the actual, what we have there, that we say, oh, this one is not impaired by any way, is over 30 something billion
Mm.
out of that 40 something billion.
Okay. Now, a lot of these reforms that have taken place, of course, we see Naira stabilizing. It started 2025, I think, at 1,600, closed at around 1,004, which is commendable. We saw a gain, a proof of gain in of the Naira. We've seen, well, some of these airlines and companies that have either to left Nigeria return to Nigeria, and we're seeing or some of this improvements. But Nigerians are saying that all this affects more of the upper class, and where it doesn't affect them directly is more of macro. What are you doing with micro? To the extent that the average Nigerian parent will still have the same access to the kind of disposable cash he had in 2023 at the beginning of this administration.
No, I think government, as I said, government is tackling a lot of those issues
Mm.
that arose from its reforms. Okay, look at, you are talking about a cost of living or something like that. If you are a parent and you have your children in the universities or polytechnics or colleges of education and so on, you have an opportunity, your children have the opportunity to say, look, daddy, don't worry, we will take the loan. Net fund is there to take care of it so that you don't need to bother yourself about finding money to pay the school fees of your children, even their living allowances. Government has provided a window to help them by, making net fund available. We didn't have this one before. And if you even also look at even the lowest paid worker from 30,000 naira or so is now 70,000 naira. People sometimes they
Talk about the value
yeah
of
wait
30 and 70.
people sometimes, if I were a lower paid worker, I mean the lowest paid worker, and my salary is 70,000, I don't want to remain on 70,000 all through my life. I probably maybe go to school or something, or go and do some other things to enhance my income. Not even in UK, even in US. In US, there's a term they always use. They call it moonlighting. You find somebody, because in that place many people are on hourly wages or something like that. People will find that even at the end of the month or at the end of the week, what they earn cannot take care of them. So they do moonlighting. Either they do cab service or they do some extra work so that they can earn additional income. I don't expect anybody who earns 70K to believe that he can continue to live on 70K. He needs to do something extra to add to his income.
Hmm.
So, but what I'm saying, generally, government has done a lot of things. You know, there was a time at the beginning of this session that we were doing cash transfers to people. It's all to help them. And the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs continues to do a lot of things to make sure that people are given some kind of relief from whatever consequences that we've had in the way of re-engineering the economy. So people cannot, and even look at health. Government is doing a lot of things in primary health care to make sure that people can access health care at affordable cost. So many things have been done to address the day-to-day living of Nigerians.
All right. Now, a while ago, under the leadership of President Buhari, when we're talking about insecurity, he had made a statement which a lot of Nigerians found out, which is that speak to your state governments and the local government. They have a role to play. Now, under your leadership, not with insecurity right now, but more with the economy, once subsidy was removed, more money came in, and we are seeing the money being given to the states. Some Nigerians have come out to say they are the cronies of the federal government, is giving it to them to buy their loyalty. Some have followed the law to say, the law says, share this money among the three tiers of government. But a lot of Nigerians still do not see the impact of the use of this money. In Lagos State, for example, where I come from, local governments are getting 2 billion every month. Now, it is the role of your administration to make sure that the life of every Nigerian is affected. What are you doing to ensure that states and local governments are accountable?
No, wait, this is not a military government. This is a civilian government, democratic government.
Yes.
The law is there. At the end of every month, government accumulates some money in a pool and say, okay, this is the money that accrued to the federation, and shares the money to federal, to the states, to the local councils. It is the job of the citizens to hold their governors, to hold their council chairmen accountable for the money they get from the center. It's not the business of federal government. Federal government can only be like a preacher and ask them. In fact, the last time, some months ago, the president told the governors, say, where the ground small, where the ground, because they are collecting money. When they collect money from the center, they have a duty to ensure that the people that they govern, have a feel of that kind of money that they get. So, but the president cannot force them. But it is the duty of all citizens, wherever you stay, either in Lagos or Enugu or anywhere you stay, to ask your governors that, okay, you collect XYZ money from the center, what are you using the money for? In fact, in some of the states, they are also increasing their revenue, internally generated revenue. Yeah. Like Enugu was announcing over about 1,000% increase in its IGR. So many states are also aggressively increasing their own IGR. It's not only what they collect from the center. Yeah. But you see, Nigerians have this mentality. I think it's a carryover from military rule, thinking that everything is done from the center. No. The center has its own problems. The states, they have their problem. The local council have their problem. But part of the problem we are facing is that in some states, the governors are not doing what they're supposed to do. I was speaking to a former minister of national planning when we were discussing this, what people call multidimensional poverty. And he said, and I agree with him, that people tend to shift the blame. Mainly, in fact, they focus more on the central government. That is wrong. That all the indices, all the things, the factors you find under multidimensional poverty, they are issues that the states are supposed to take care of. If you talk about sanitation, you see the federal government that go and carry your waste in your state. If you talk about housing, you see the federal government that is building for you. What are the states doing? If you talk about education, the states should provide schools. If you talk about health, what is the job of the states?
But all these things you said, well, of course, constitutionally it is right. But again, Nigerians will say we have ministries for all these state responsibilities that you've listed at the federal level. So what are the ministries at the federal level doing? Of course, we understand the education, you have universities and the likes, but you have agencies like this agency for basic education. I'm trying to remember the agency, and also for health, you have Primary Health Care Board. So what are these agencies doing to ensure that these things are properly implemented? And apart from that as well, Nigerians believe that EFCC is in control, is guided by the federal government. And there are other laws. What are these laws doing? How are we using these laws to compel states and local governments to function?
Well, under our constitution, for instance, the governors have immunity.
Yes.
For 4 years. If you spend 8 years, they can't arrest you, they can't take you to court. It's only after you have finished your tenure, other 4 or 8, that the FCC can come calling or the ICPC can come calling. Before then, nobody. But we have the House of Assembly in every state. Their job is to hold the executive accountable. We have the citizens. They also have a duty not just to vote people in, but also to begin to ask questions, to hold their governors or council chairmen that they voted in, to hold them accountable. They have to ask them, what are you using? In school, they always tell us, follow the Naira. Follow the Naira. They should always, they are collecting money. We are paying taxes. Where is this money going to? That is the duty of our citizens. Don't let us just shift all the blame on the federal government. Yes, the federal government has agencies or ministries that are similar to what they have at the state level, but the federal government role just is to help those states to intervene where necessary, not that they are going to assume the role of a state governor. That's not the role of federal government. The governors have a permanent responsibility to their citizens. And I think citizens should not begin to look at everything federal, federal. If they have divorce at home, they say federal government. If they have this problem, federal, federal. No. Let us begin to believe that we are a federation. And just as the federal government has responsibility, the states and the councils, they also have their own.
When people have divorce at home, they talk about the federal government.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, people always focus on government, federal, everything federal, federal.
I mean, the other day we came out in Lagos.
No, it's a military, it's a hangover from military rule. Because at that time, the military government was running Nigeria as a central government, a unitary government, but things have shifted in 1999.
Yeah, I remember
people have not yet win themselves out of that mentality.
Yeah,
things have changed.
Okay, I remember coming out some time ago in Lagos, and it was so scorchy. The sun was at its highest, and I said to a friend jokingly, the federal government needs to look for a way to protect us from the sun.
From the sun,
yes, it's it's important. But if you say we haven't weaned ourselves from military rule,
no, from the mentality.
Yes, mentality of the military process of governance. Yeah. How do we do that? One would expect that would be a major responsibility of the NOA. And by attaching my next question to that, to say, what has this government done in sensitizing Nigerians on processes, carrying them along with what you're doing, letting them know their rights? But a lot of Nigerians cower, especially when they deal with agencies of governments.
Well, I think you mentioned NOA. I think NOA is doing its best to educate people about what Nigerians about what the government has been doing for the past 2.5 or more than 2.5 years now. If you watch TV, you see NOA on a educational enlightenment program about government policies and so on. In newspapers, NOA has been doing a lot of that. But what I'm saying, I think citizens on their own also need to. For example, let me tell you about NELFund. I was shocked one day when somebody called me from Lagos and said, "Hey, this is your NELFund. Parents are not aware of NELFund." And that's from Lagos. He said, what do you mean by parents are not aware? Have they not been reading papers? Have they not been watching the TV or listening to radio? He said, no, they are not aware. I said, oh, if they are not aware, what about their children? Are they not aware of this, of NELFund, for instance? And to me, what it shows that is that people have been consuming the wrong information, or they just don't care about information. In fact, you find some people, they're on social media, they are not going after information that really will help them. They are rather reading gossip here or things there, and that's what social media has done. Even though we are supposed to, billions of people all over the world are supposed to go on social media, but when you talk to people, you find that they don't really know anything, and they are on social media, and they are not reading news. They are not following what government has been doing, and it's unfortunate. There's a limit to what the NOA can do. There's even a limit to what the Federal Ministry of Information or even the State Ministry of Information can do in the age of social media, when people are tuned to something else. They are not listening to government. They are not interested in what government is doing, and so on. So there's a whole lot of problem. It's not just government problem, not NOA problem alone, but even this duty of citizens to know that they have a duty to follow the actions of government and to monitor government. And luckily, in this age now, we have a lot of NGOs that are also filling in the gap, trying to monitor government activities and so on, and raising the flags if they find something that's not okay, and so on. So, but it's not government alone. It's
who is charged with that
responsibility. All of us.
Right. But I mean, there are many questions that roll out of that, but for the sake of time, I would want us to go, because we're looking at how active then is government on social media, where are you meeting these people? But let's set that aside and look at specifics. Recently, the president issued an executive order directing the direct remittance of proceeds from oil to the federation account. And there are ways you hear things, but you're really not listening. Until it was said, the question that came was, so where were these funds going before now? And what really is the impact of this?
Well, the Petroleum Industry Act came
Yes.
into effect, I think, 2021, and this government came into office 2023.
Mm.
And this President Tinubu, has always been saying that it appears as if this law was made to benefit the NNPC, the NUPRC, and all these people at the detriment of the Nigerian people. He's always been saying what certain clauses there are not to the benefit of Nigerians.
Mm.
The NNPC under that law can take 20% of whatever comes in as its administrative cost.
20%,
Yeah, 20%.
irrespective of the amount you earn that year.
Yeah, 20%. But in the same law, in the same peer, under the same peer, the NM is entitled to gain some 30% profit, and so many things, so many deductions that NM also makes under that law. And the NUPRC, another agency in the oil sector, is also entitled to certain things and so on. This is how the government is trying to streamline. That look, NNPC, NUPRC, NMPRD, whatever they call them, they are the agencies of government. They are owned by the Nigerian people. And the people that are the owners are not getting benefits of what they are supposed to get from the oil sector. And by that executive order, the executive is meant to correct all these things, to limit NNPC to what they are entitled to, and then to let the Nigerian people, the government of the federation, the states, the local councils, actually get what they are supposed to get from the oil sector. That's what the executive is going to do.
Okay, and is this a stopgap measure, or is it going to be permanent? Because this is just an executive order. Another president would come in.
Is there in the statement issue yesterday? We said the president is going to move for an overhaul, a review of the peer of the Petroleum Industry Act. He's going to review it. I mean, in line with what he has decided to do about making sure that the oil revenue actually go to the federation account, and not that the NNPC or the other organs that they just take the money. So that's what they're trying to do.
Okay. And are there timelines for that? Will it achieve it before the elections?
With immediate effect.
Okay.
That order takes effect or took effect from 13 February.
Okay.
This year, 13 February, with immediate effect. And I think we as Nigerians begin to see the effect. I'm sure by the time the revenue generated by the country is reported in February, maybe partly this end of February or in March, we're going to see the effect of it.
All right. Now, one promise the president made before he came into office was about the cost of fuel, saying he would drop it. Then
that they will drop the cost of fuel.
They will manage it. It will make sure there are no constant increase in the cost of fuel. And but
I don't remember that he made that promise.
He never made that promise.
I don't remember that. He just so.
He never said anything about the fuel.
I've been taunting us with, but the president said, "Oh, he will solve the problem of electricity."
Yes, that's one.
Yeah, he made that promise, and he's doing it.
But okay, with the electricity that he raised right now, there are many places where there is no power, but it's still very epileptic, and there are some people with band
Which
aids.
places?
Okay, if you come to Lagos, there is a place. I have some callers who call consistently from around. I always mix up that Egbeda Igodo access. Some of these places still don't have electricity. Where are we with this? And there's some people that are even paying for band A in some parts of Ojoju in Lagos, where they get band A, but they're not getting what they used to have when they initially were put on band A. So where are we with electricity?
Well, what I know is this. I also live, I have my family is in Lagos, and where I stay in Lagos, Aja, I can tell you for the last, I would say in the last 6 months or so, we've had constant power supply. And I think that was because of, there was something that Siemens did to enhance the power supply in that area. I have solar at home. I hardly use the solar because I now find that I don't need to turn my solar when I have power. But of course, even the power we have also charges our solar. So if we've enjoyed, in fact, sometimes I even tell my wife that this power from the means is getting too much, because the more power you see your meter showing that you are using a lot of power. So, but we've had in that part of Lagos, we've had constant power supply. Some of those issues we are talking about, there may be local problems. Maybe there's a transformer problem that will make supply impossible, and I believe that is what is causing it in all those areas we are describing. Local problems, which can be solved by the discos in the operating in that area. But I said, it's not even in Abuja. Power has improved. Even in the universities, they are providing solar power. Even this Aso Rock, they are investing in solar power.
Yeah, the report came out saying, is it in month of February or March, you're going completely upgrade. And that's the more reason, when that report came out, a lot of my listeners on radio, Lagos Talks 91.3 FM, they were livid that the presidency is leaving us in darkness.
That's be an unfair comment. It's what the president is showing that, look, there's an alternative. Power is expensive. And I just don't want to realize that power is expensive. So if power is expensive, what do? You try to adopt something that is less expensive. And that is solar. Solar, the energy cost can be high, but you will see the benefit that you will get once you are able to do it, and then you see the benefit. You don't need to be paying a lot of money to the power companies. That's what government is showing, that there's an alternative to all this high cost of power from the discos. Don't forget that last year, the discos said they're going to cut off the gas and electricity, that they will cut off power supply to the seat of government. I think that was what government said, look, let's have an alternative to all these demands by power companies and so on. So for the citizens too, we should also begin to think about having alternative power. Don't let us be dependent only on just one source.
I mean, to an average citizen, it feels like government is going to provide electricity for me. I don't have the money.
Electricity has been regulated.
Yes.
From Jonathan years, not Buhari. Regulated by Jonathan. That's when they sold a lot of NEPA assets to discos, to Bencos, and so on. So it's not actually regulated anymore. But what government has done is to say, let us see how we can help the people by investing again in that sector. But if you don't want to say, look, this is not regulated, why are you wasting money in investing? But you know that I see a lot of gaps, and government has been trying to fill that gap. Why are we partner with Siemens? It's not going to do it anymore. So I said, Jonathan, I've already deregulated the sector. Why is government still investing in transmission? That was left by Jonathan. He didn't regulate that one. That's why government is investing in transmission and all kinds of things.
They feel like that deregulation is not really paying off as much on Nigerians. And Nigerians are asking that, why can't we withdraw the license? And
this government has even gone further. In 2023, the president signed an electricity act that now empowers the states to generate power, to distribute power. Some states are saying they're going to do something about it. Some of the states have domesticated this act in their states. They want to invest in power. I think Lagos has done so. Some states have done so. Look, the states, back to what we were discussing earlier, the states have a duty to do certain things. It's not just federal government. The states can generate power. The state can distribute power. That is what our electricity provides for.
We'll come to the economy right now, where we'll wrap it all up. But when we're talking about the states, okay, we've spoken about states have responsibility for education. They have a primary responsibility for health. They have a primary responsibility right now for infrastructure, that is energy or power infrastructure. They have a primary responsibility for economy because they're now getting benefits off the subsidy removal. So then, what should Nigerians look up to the federal government for? What should we say, okay, this, we expect this from the federal government, and at least we know we can go to federal government for this. This is their major responsibility.
What they should expect from the federal government is well spelled out in the Constitution. Exclusive list of the federal responsibility. And the states also have their own list, common list, what the states can do and what exclusively what the federal government can do. The federal government is supposed to give you to defend our territorial integrity. It's supposed to manage the economy and things like that. These are all on the exclusive list. The federal government is in charge of CBN and so many things. So that is federal responsibility. The states have their own. We are talking about the issue that you raise the issue of food, for instance, before. Why can't the state go into agriculture? Why can't they go into agriculture? Why can't they invest in that sector? So that we can say, oh, if you want to buy cheap food, go to Ogun State or go to your state or something. Why is everybody looking at the federal government to handle that? Because the federal government has no land. All the land in this country is under, they are all under the states. Yeah. So each time they want to do agriculture, they have to go to state, give us land to do this and that. The states can invest in agric. The state can grow food that can feed their citizens.
But can the Ministry of Agric partner states to make sure they do this? What does the Ministry of Agric do?
The government, the federal government role has been, in some of these areas, have been interventionist. I was reading just a day or two ago, the federal government has been to invest in, bought many caterpillars or something, caterpillar they call tractors, many tractors, and they are not being distributed.
2000.
Interventionists. Nothing stops the states. Some states, like Niger, some states also bought tractors. Why can't the states? Let's forget federal government that exists. Let the states, let city people look more on their states to do many things for them. That's why they were created.
All right, so let's wrap it up here. There's security, there's so many things you can touch on, but let's begin to bring this home. Now, when you look at Nigeria, the economy, we spoke about how the Naira gained last year and where we are this year. There have been predictions or estimations by business executives, the Dangotes, the Otedolas. Some have said will fall below, Naira gain above 1,000 Naira or below 1,000 Naira to $1. Some have said around 1,000 Naira. But people are asking that for the Naira to gain, it means it has to be, well, the economy has to improve, and you should feel the impact on the life of an average Nigerian. When we talk about working around the economy, what is the base of our economy right now? What is driving it? As the purchasing power has not improved, what really is pushing the economy? If you're looking at giving...
I don't agree with you that the purchasing power has not improved.
Okay.
It has improved.
No, 2025.
Wait. Let me tell you, Mr. Trump, President of America, every time to gauge the health of the American economy, he will point at the stock market. I've been using this, I've been using the reports of many companies that have given their report about their performance in 2025. And you find one of them reporting very high profit. And then remember, is this profit made from out from heaven or from the skies? It's from this economy.
But our model is a bit different from that of America.
I'm telling you, I'm not finished. Okay. What I want to show is that the economy has been improving. Companies are reporting negative profits.
Yes.
And the profits were made from Nigerians, from our patronage of whatever service or goods that we sell. That's where the money came from. And you see stocks rising because of that. Because the economy is improving.
Yes.
It's improving. Look,
But as it concerns the average Nigerian, what they're
Who is this average Nigerian?
the Nigerian who used to eat shawarma once a week, but now
Is that one an average Nigerian, the one who goes after shawarma? Is he an average Nigerian?
that should be the plan.
It's a privileged Nigerian going if you want to go and eat shawarma.
That's really what Nigerians are saying. That folks want to see shawarma as a privilege means that we are not.
No.
Yeah.
Why do you need to buy shawarma? I cannot go and buy cow meat in the abattoir and cook your meat at home.
Okay, so let's domesticate it and localize it. What about those that used to eat maybe some brocotor every
Why must you eat? We are using the wrong example. Why must you eat brocotor?
People deserve good life. That's what they want.
Is brocotor good meat?
Well, to an average person that likes to find
Is brocotor good meat? It's not. Look, people in 2023, when this government came in and people keep saying, oh, things are hard, blah, blah. And this time I go home, believe me, and I pass by beer joints, I see cars tagged. I asked my driver, is that not a beer joint? He said, yes. They are drinking beer. I said, so if things are so bad, why are they still drinking beer?
Some say they drink beer and they walk home. They just want to while away their sorrows.
No, sometimes I believe sometimes we exaggerate the problems of the economy. Honestly, I know that things have not been easy for some Nigerians, but I think in the last 1 year, things are easing up. And things are not as bad as when we came in 2023. Let me say, things would have been much worse if Tinubu had not come in. Things have been much worse. The economy would have collapsed. I was listening to a video by the owner of Kano, Shanusi, saying that the economy would have collapsed if Tinubu had not put all those brakes into the economy. Things would have been much you can say the economy will be like Zimbabwe, where you need a trailer load of currency to buy anything.
And while experts will say what you're saying is a fact, Nigerians will tell you that you save the economy, but Nigerians are collapsing. Because
Nigerians are not collapsing.
Let me tell you why they say that. Many people have had to withdraw their children from private schools to public schools that they don't have much trust in. But they have to do that because they cannot afford to go pay for that private school again. And they're not doing it out of classism. They just want the best education.
No, let me tell you something. Sometimes those of us who are elite, we allow some people to bamboozle us about certain things. My child started going to a private school. I think by the time she got to primary 3 or something, we withdrew her from that private school. We took her to a public school because we found that what they were offering in public school was a lot of hogwash. It was not. We are even afraid for our future because if this is what they are teaching in that school, let's take it out.
But that was a while ago.
I'm talking about the 90s.
Yes.
90s.
Yes. But there's been less attention paid to public schools now.
Public schools are not as bad as somebody will tell you. They're not as bad. I found instances where children attended public schools, they go and do common entrance exam, they enter secondary school, and they're good. They do very well. I found students who went to public universities and they excel better than those who go to private or public universities. Because they tell you all kinds of stories about public schools are better. No. As a young boy, when I was in secondary school, I had a classmate who came from a private school. And I said, this one, Ajabota. But you know, find that when we started the school, we were beating them in class. And oh, what are they teaching them in private school? Not all of them. I'm not saying all public schools are bad. But what I'm saying, let us not stretch it too far by thinking that public schools are bad. Public schools are not bad. Some are good. What I always advise parents to do, if you can't afford to send your child to a private school, because some people they have been watching that they are better, send your child if you can afford it. Of course, you wouldn't afford sending your child to a public school support your child with private tutoring after leaving school. Maybe the policy will come in, again teach her or him something more, and you try to fortify the child educationally. Even if your child goes to private school, my daughter has gone to private school, I had to go and hire private teachers to come and teach her again at home. So that's the way to around it. If we have seen some middle class people sending their children to private school and they cannot afford it, why do something you cannot afford? When you can send your child to a public school and then support the child with private tutoring at home. If you calculate the cost, it's much cheaper.
All right. About the costs, well, that's on another side. But let's bring this home. Nigerians are asking for a very transparent, foolproof 2027 elections. An election process that is devoid of interference by the executive, that shies away from the power of incumbency. And they're asking, can President Tinubu provide that kind of election or guarantee that in 2027?
I don't know, all this ulabalu, all this noise about electronic transmission of results. People I don't think that's what they were talking about, because INEC in 2023, INEC actually transmitted results electronically. After your manual voting, you come in, you bring your card, they check it whether you are registered, blah blah. They give you a paper, you go to a secret place, you put your shares, and then you return the form, put it inside the box, and so on. All those ones is manual. When they finish voting and they count the votes manual. Now, when they now write the result on the sheet, I think from E8 or something they call it, and the party agent, everybody sign that this is the result of the sheet here. Then the INEC is supposed to now scan it or either photocopy it or something, and then upload it, send it to RF. That's what they were doing, they did. And they did it in 2027. What some people are saying that, oh, this thing must be automatic.
Delayed. They want it real time, immediately.
It cannot be real time. Sometimes I sit down here, we have internet here, sometimes it doesn't work. I have also G5 or what they call 5G at home, Lagos, Abuja. Sometimes I just want to do something on the internet, it's not working. That's why it cannot be real time. You cannot say it should be done automatically. Suppose there's some glitches, and there could be glitches, not just here, anywhere in the world. I was in UK recently, and in a hotel, we were using Wi-Fi, and then it just found that it was not working. For a whole day, a big hotel, for a whole day, we had to go, tell something to work, I'm using my phone to browse. I said, your Wi-Fi is on there, okay, it will work. For almost a whole day, no connection. So that's why real time is not possible. People should really be sensible about what is possible and what is not possible. The law has not said no. They should do e-transmission. They're not saying they should not do this. They should do e-transmission provided there are no glitches. If there are glitches, this is not going to be possible. So it's I don't know why they are. You see, we keep befuddling a lot of things in this country. We don't want to. We chase shadows instead of being realistic about what is possible and what is not possible. So, the National Assembly, they've done the right thing by saying, okay, we support e-transmission provided there are no glitches.
Okay.
And that I said, the execution of that is INEC.
Yeah.
Not President Bola.
That's what I'm saying. I can't push you further on that because the law is passed.
It's President. The one. Yeah, it's President. He has provided the law. Let INEC go to town. This
okay. So we'll see. There's a promise that from the side of the president there will not be interference. So Nigerians are expecting and will be looking forward to that. We want to thank you for your time, and it's been engaging having this conversation. There are so many things we're going to touch on, but we'll be back to engage on you on this and speak to Nigerians. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for coming.
All right.
Thanks a lot.
All right, we'll wrap up the program right now. This has been a trip to the capital. I know there are many questions, but just go to the social media, the comment section, and drop your comments there. I mean, whoever you want us to engage, we'll bring them to you. It's a trip to the capital where we bring you to the seat of power. We've been told by many that it is hot, but what I'm sitting on right now is quite comfortable. Maybe I'm just on the seat, but I'm not the one in power. My name is Olu Akarede. This has been a trip to the capital. And we'll be back next week with another episode. Do not change your dial. Lagos Talks 91.3 FM. On air and definitely online across social media.